Newcastle United is building for next season, so from the exciting agreed deal to Fabrizio Romano being 100% sure about a massive transfer move.
You serious?
To the recent huge development regarding Harvey Barnes' future, will also reveal the Bruno Guimaraes season verdict. As per, join us as we'll break it all down and discuss the latest Newcastle United transfer news.
Let's go!
So starting off, after the last result.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Bruno Guimaraes delivered an emotional verdict on Newcastle's frustrating season. Bruno Guimaraes has never hidden how deeply he feels about Newcastle United, and his latest message to supporters perfectly summed up the frustration surrounding the club's disappointing campaign. Despite being born thousands of miles away in Brazil, Guimaraes has embraced Newcastle and its culture completely since arriving at St. James's Park. Over time, he has become far more than just one of the team's best players. He now feels emotionally connected to the club in the same way many supporters are. That passion has often been obvious on the pitch. When Newcastle struggle, Guimaraes wears the disappointment openly. Whether through his reactions, his body language, or occasionally reckless challenges made out of frustration, the midfielder's commitment to the cause has never been questioned. In many ways, he represents exactly the mentality Newcastle supporters want to see throughout the squad. Following the end of the season, the club captain shared an honest and emotional assessment of the campaign, while thanking fans for their support. A very frustrating season, and without a doubt we are all very disappointed. You fans definitely did not deserve this, but football doesn't always go the way we plan. Individually, I managed to have the season with the most goal contributions in my career, and I would trade all of that for a better position in the table. Honestly, I just want to thank the fans for everything. Thank you. The Brazilian's words are likely to resonate strongly with supporters given the difficult nature of Newcastle's season. While many players have come under scrutiny for inconsistent performances and questions over commitment, Guimaraes remains one of the few figures almost universally protected from criticism among the fan base. Statistically, he was once again Newcastle's standout performer. The midfielder finished the campaign as the club's leading scorer and creator in league football, underlining just how central he remains to everything positive Newcastle produce going forward. His season was not without setbacks, however. A hamstring injury followed by a bout of mumps disrupted his rhythm during a crucial stage of the campaign, forcing him to miss important matches when Newcastle badly needed leadership and control in midfield. Still, few could argue Newcastle would have been in a far worse position without him. As uncertainty grows around several members of the squad heading into a major summer rebuild, Guimaraes increasingly feels like one of the club's truly indispensable players. His quality is obvious, but perhaps even more importantly, he genuinely appears to care deeply about Newcastle's success and failures, something supporters value enormously. If Eddie Howe is to rebuild the side into genuine contenders again, Bruno Guimaraes looks certain to remain one of the central figures the entire project is built around. Talking about building the squad, there has been a massive exciting development as Newcastle United supporters have received a huge boost as the club confirmed that Lewis Miley has signed a new long-term contract keeping him at St. James's Park until 2032. After a deeply frustrating end to the season, the announcement has provided some much-needed positivity around the club and reinforced Newcastle's commitment to building around its brightest young talent. At just 19 years old, Miley has already established himself as one of the most exciting academy graduates Newcastle have produced in years. Under Eddie Howe, the midfielder has developed into a genuine first-team player despite his age, regularly showing a level of composure, intelligence and maturity far beyond his years. Even during difficult periods this season, Miley consistently looked comfortable at Premier League level, and it is easy to forget just how young he still is when watching him play. Injuries have interrupted parts of his progress, but whenever he has featured, his quality has been obvious. The new contract also feels significant given Newcastle's recent history with academy talent. The club were forced into selling Elliot Anderson due to profit and sustainability pressures, a decision many supporters viewed as deeply frustrating given his connection to the club and long-term potential. By securing Miley on a deal until 2032, Newcastle are clearly determined to avoid finding themselves in a similar position again. Speaking after signing the contract, Miley expressed his excitement about committing his future to his boyhood club. "I'm really pleased to sign this new contract and commit my future here. It's a dream to be representing Newcastle United, so this is a proud moment for me. I'm really grateful to everybody who has played a part in helping me get to where I am today, especially the support of my family and the trust that the club has put in me from such a young age. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I'm so excited for what's ahead. I'm now working hard every day to get back on the pitch even stronger next season and start to repay the faith that has been shown in me." For Newcastle, tying down Miley may prove just as important as any major signing this summer. He embodies many of the qualities the club wants to build around moving forward: technical quality, versatility, humility, work ethic, and enormous long-term potential. There is also a growing feeling among supporters that Miley could eventually become one of the central figures of Newcastle's future era if his development continues at its current pace. The midfielder already looks capable of influencing games at the highest level, and physically and mentally, he still has plenty of room to grow. With uncertainty surrounding several senior players and a major squad rebuild expected over the coming years, securing Miley's future feels like one of the smartest and most important pieces of business Newcastle could have completed. Despite this, Newcastle United may soon face another major decision regarding the future of a key attacking player, with reports claiming Aston Villa are interested in signing Harvey this summer. Villa secured their place in next season's Champions League after winning the Europa League under Unai Emery, although their league position had already guaranteed qualification for Europe's top competition. In contrast, Newcastle's failure to qualify for any European competition has created a far more challenging situation at St James's Park heading into the transfer window. Without European football to offer, Newcastle not only face a tougher task attracting new signings, but also risk increased interest in players already at the club from teams competing on the biggest stage. According to reports from the Mail, Aston Villa are now exploring a potential move for Barnes as they look to strengthen their attacking options ahead of another Champions League campaign. The 28-year-old enjoyed a productive season despite not always being a guaranteed starter under Eddie Howe. Barnes finished the campaign with 16 goals in all competitions, including 6 in European matches, demonstrating his ability to perform at a high level when given opportunities. His direct running, powerful finishing, and ability to impact games from wide areas remain major strengths, and Villa reportedly see him as an ideal addition to Emery's attacking setup. No official valuation has been mentioned so far, but Newcastle would almost certainly want to recover a significant portion of the £38 million they paid Leicester City to sign him in 2023. Anthony Gordon's uncertain future could also play a major role in any decision Newcastle make. With Bayern Munich continuing to push for Gordon, Barnes could suddenly become far more important to Eddie Howe's squad if the England international departs. There is also a growing feeling that Barnes could finally have the opportunity to establish himself as Newcastle's first-choice left winger if Gordon leaves. That possibility may ultimately influence whether the player himself pushes for a move or decides to stay and fight for a bigger role. At the same time, Villa's interest is understandable. Despite his inconsistency at times, Barnes remains one of the Premier League's more dangerous wide forwards when in rhythm. His movement, finishing, and ability to score in bursts make him a genuine attacking threat. One of the frustrations surrounding his Newcastle career so far has been the lack of an extended run in the starting lineup. Whenever Barnes has produced quieter performances, Howe has often rotated quickly, making it difficult for the winger to build sustained momentum or confidence. That could become an important factor in his thinking this summer, particularly if a club offering regular Champions League football and potentially more guaranteed minutes comes forward. From Newcastle's perspective, the situation is complicated. On one hand, Barnes is proven at Premier League level and still capable of being a major contributor in a stronger, more stable side. On the other, Newcastle may need to make difficult financial and squad decisions as they reshape the team following a disappointing campaign. Much could now depend on what happens with Gordon. If the England winger leaves, keeping Barnes may suddenly become essential. If Gordon stays, Newcastle could face a tougher decision over whether to cash in on a player who still holds strong market value. Then Anthony Gordon's expected departure from Newcastle United is beginning to look increasingly inevitable, with transfer expert Fabrizio Romano now claiming he is 100% sure the winger will leave the club this summer. After weeks of growing speculation surrounding the England international's future, Romano has delivered the clearest indication yet that Gordon is preparing for a new challenge away from St. James's Park. Speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Romano stated that Newcastle are already aware of the player's intentions. He is going to leave Newcastle. In this case, I'm 100% sure the plan is for him to try something new. Newcastle are already aware of the decision. He's appreciated by Barcelona, there is interest from Bayern Munich, and they have already made contact, but there could be more clubs, Romano said. When Gordon first arrived from Everton, he quickly won over many Newcastle supporters through his relentless energy, aggressive pressing and visible passion on the pitch. However, the ongoing transfer saga and apparent desire to leave have significantly damaged that connection in the eyes of large sections of the fan base. Bayern Munich remain the strongest contenders for his signature. The Bundesliga champions have held talks with Gordon's camp and continue to push for a deal, but a major gap in valuation remains the biggest obstacle. Newcastle are believed to want around £75 million, while Bayern's current valuation sits closer to £60 million. Transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano has also revealed that Bayern are not the only club monitoring the situation. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano claimed Barcelona and Arsenal both admire Gordon, although financial complications could make any move difficult, particularly for the Spanish giants. Anthony Gordon is an option for 3 clubs. One is Barcelona because they like him but he's very expensive. Another is Bayern. There's already been contact with Newcastle but they believe he's very expensive so they have alternatives. And he's always been appreciated by people at Arsenal. Newcastle now find themselves walking a delicate line. But one thing is for sure, and that is Gordon's profile continues to appeal strongly across Europe thanks to his pace, aggressive pressing, versatility, and ability to thrive in transition-heavy systems. Despite Newcastle's disappointing campaign overall, he still contributed 6 goals and 2 assists in 26 Premier League appearances, while remaining one of the squad's most dangerous attacking outlets. His Champions League performances earlier in the season also appear to have strengthened his reputation internationally. Earlier this year, Chief Commercial Officer David Hopkinson publicly insisted that any future player sales would happen strictly on Newcastle's terms, a statement designed to reinforce the club's ambition and financial strength. That stance, however, also increases the pressure not to back down during negotiations. If Newcastle lower their demands too easily, it risks creating the impression that rival clubs can force discounts for other key players in future windows. Yet keeping an unhappy player who openly wants to leave also carries obvious risks. The club experienced a similar situation with Alexander Isak last summer, and few inside Newcastle will want another prolonged transfer saga dragging through the entire window. Ideally for Newcastle, a resolution arrives quickly. There may also be a preference internally for Gordon to move abroad rather than strengthen a direct Premier League rival, especially given interest from Arsenal and long-standing admiration from other English clubs. Either way, this increasingly feels less like speculation and more like the beginning of an inevitable separation between player and club. The situation also has implications for Everton. When Newcastle signed Gordon from Everton for an initial package worth around £45 million, the deal reportedly included a sell-on clause entitling the Merseyside club to a percentage of any profit Newcastle make on a future sale. If Gordon was sold for £80 million, Everton would stand to receive roughly 15% of the profit above the original transfer fee. That would generate an estimated £5.25 million for Everton. Not a transformative amount financially, but still a useful boost for the club's wider summer plans. For Newcastle, the bigger issue now is replacing a player who became central to Eddie Howe's attacking system. Although his relationship with supporters has become strained amid the transfer speculation, Gordon's energy, directness, and intensity have been hugely important since arriving from Everton. The Magpies are already being linked with several possible replacements across Europe, including younger wide forwards capable of fitting Howe's aggressive style of play. And if you would like to know those Gordon replacements, click the video link on screen now.